Hey guys, this is Dan the Man with the Master Plan. What's going on? Krista and I just watched or we actually listened to a webinar online because we're always trying to keep up with the latest and greatest information. This particular webinar was about vaccinations and inoculations, and these three particular doctors, which were very enlightened, were adamantly opposed to vaccinations in any way, shape, or form. So I resonate with that quite a bit with the knowledge that I've accumulated over the years, that I've found the idea of vaccinations to be absolutely ridiculous. And I posted a video a couple months ago on Facebook and lost several of my friends on Facebook because they thought I was nuts, because they thought it's one thing to talk about raw foods from Dan the Man, but it's another thing to put down vaccinations. So we've all been indoctrinated pretty deep about the nature of vaccinations and their importance, but there's been no studies ever done to prove their efficacy whatsoever. Also, no one's willing to take financial responsibility for damages done. So it's pretty obvious to most of the viewers out there, I think, the conspiracy behind it all. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time angry or upset about the who's doing what and the brain control and trying to mess up our DNA and mess up our brains to make us. I mean, they know that when you put vaccines, inoculations, thermosil, mercury, and all the other heavy metals that come along with the vaccinations, which just add to the toxic load, and then it makes your brain kind of fuzzy and you get like nervousy stuff. I mean, I've been working on that stuff with my jaw, and I kind of thought maybe it was the drugs and stuff, but I'm putting it all together, and I'm on a continual path of detoxification and regeneration, and through the alkalization process. And that's what we share here on YouTube on this Life Regenerator channel. And that's exactly what the doctors were talking about tonight. They weren't able to go into their specific protocols, I think because they're professionals and they need to have patients come and see them and get a hold of them through their websites and stuff. But that's what I thought was really cool, and I felt honored that I could actually share the same information that they were sharing. And I can share it for free, and which is basically what we've been sharing, is the alkalization and detoxification process. Unfortunately, I only have 10 minutes a day, and I never really get into any subjects long enough to really explain it in depth. So let's try to do a little bit today on the detoxification and regeneration heavy metal chelation therapies. Again, it's going to be simple. You've got a cell, right? And inside the cell, you need some acid reaction movement to keep the cells, firing off. Okay, so you need some acids. You also need alkaline inside the cell as well, but extracellularly is really where you want to focus on getting alkaline, is the extracellular fluids in the body. The body's fluids need to be alkaline in order for the detoxification process to take place. And of course, these doctors are all the top in their field. And what's cool, and it made me feel pretty good about myself, is that I've been saying the exact same thing on here on all my videos: alkalize, detoxify, and regenerate tissue. So it's pretty cool that I'm a layman. No, I don't have a doctor's thing on. I don't have any education whatsoever, unless you count the last 15 years of reading, everything under the sun from all the greatest, health teachers from all the different genres, not just raw foodists either. But I find the raw foodists have a real common thread of intelligence about the nature of the human organism. So, I eat raw foods, and I use foods as medicine to alkalize the fluids in my body and to generate electricity and energy at the level of inner vitality. So if I can continue to cultivate that inner vitality, eventually those heavy metals and toxins are going to be thrown off by the body. So that's what we want to continue to do in this case. And it's not just, I don't really even get specific, because what I like to share is overall, all over body detoxification. These fine doctors this evening were sharing about, mostly the neurological detoxification. which of course I'm totally interested in, being the person who has a past like I do. I'm totally interested in neurological regeneration, getting my brain to function as good as I can get it in this lifetime, okay? But I'm also talking about body regeneration, because sometimes the heavy metals and the toxins will come out of the brain and they'll lodge in the body. We want to open up the channels in the body through the alkalization and detoxification process. So fruit is going to give us energy, and fruit is also going to open up the lymph system, right? Oranges, grapes, lemons, apples, get the lymph fluid moving, and you've got to get a lot of movement also in order to keep the lymph pumping through the body. So fruit to open up the lymphatic system, green herbs and vegetables to alkalize those extracellular fluids so that the body can move those toxins out. And this is just full body detox, and never want to give up. What else are you going to do? You want to go down the road that leads to not life, or do you want to go down the road that leads to life? And this, I'm talking about the greater context here. I'm talking about, you know, building vitality on every level of your being. I'm talking about physical, with the raw foods and the breathing and the sunlight and the rest. And I'm talking about building up on the emotions by allowing love to flow through you, which is a byproduct, I think, of strengthening the body and detoxifying, regenerating, and feeding the brain through meditation, learning, most importantly, sometimes just relaxing and just stopping and just do nothing for a while and let your brain rest. Don't talk, don't read, just sit there and like lay on the couch, maybe watch a movie or something very relaxing, or listen to some classical or whatever, have a glass of wine with the fire, you know, or whatever your trip is, you know, just to chill and educate yourself with a good spiritual knowledge. And I think that when we strengthen the body and strengthen the mind, the heart opens up. And when the heart opens up, we become devoted to something bigger than ourselves, you know? And that, I believe, we can call spirituality. And then the spirit begins to be illuminated. And then joy comes regardless of what the external circumstances is, you know? So again, I was just really impressed with these doctors. They're way up ahead of the game. They're detoxifying and they're eliminating heavy metals through the alkalization and detoxification process. They didn't go into what exactly their protocols were, but they made reference to the detoxifying of the heavy metals and the tissue obstructions that are going to obstruct the flow of the nervous system and cause different types of nervous disorders, you know, clacking your teeth, shaking your leg, ADD type stuff. So everyone needs to just hopefully will relax, chill out. Within the raw food thing, I see a lot of people judging other people because maybe they don't see it like I do, that we've all been shot up with poisonous needles. We've all been bombarded with Tylenol and NyQuil and everything else under the sun. And now it's time to build up the function of our cells with raw foods, oxygen, sunlight, faith, love, and belief in something bigger than ourselves, service to our brothers and sisters, and total self-acceptance. You don't know what the other guy's going through, and maybe he needs to eat meat just to keep going because he's got 7 kids and a wife, and he knows the minute he stops eating meat, he can't get up to go for nothing. So we got to quit judging each other and pointing fingers and saying you should be this and you should be. But why? Because I ate meat and I don't eat it anymore, so now I'm going to be pissed off at everyone because they're not as good as I am? Ridiculous. I accept everyone. I'm going to share the best that I can in love, not hate or judgment. So let's alkalize, detoxify, regenerate. I'm going to make videos until the cows come home because I only have 10 minutes a day. So by the time my life is over, maybe I'll have gotten to share all the information that I want to share with you about regenerating cells. More videos to come, ladies and gentlemen. Eat your fruits and vegetables. Learn about herbs. Detoxify your brain. Open up your heart. and live a great life. This is Dan the Man, and I'm out.